tale of Peter Rabbit. Once upon a time, there were 4 little rabbits, and their names were Flopsy,
Cotton, Peter, and Flopsy.
They lived with their mother in a sandbank underneath the root of a very big fir tree. Now, my dears, said Mrs. Rabbit, you may go into the fields or down the lane, but don't go into Mr. McGregor's garden. Your father had an accident there and he was put into a pie by Mrs. McGregor. Now run along and don't get into any mischief. I'm going out. Then old Mrs. Rabbit took a basket and her
umbrella
and went through the wood to the baker's. She bought a
brown bread
and 5 currant buns. Flopsy, Mopsy, and
Cotton,
who were good little bunnies, went down the lane to gather
blackberries.
But Peter, who was very naughty, ran straight away to
Mr. McGregor's garden.
and he squeezed under the
Gate.
First, he ate some lettuce and some French beans and radishes, you're right. And then, feeling rather sick, he went to look for some parsley. But round the end of the cucumber frame, whom should he meet but
Mr. McGregor.
Mr. McGregor. And Mr. McGregor was on his hands and knees planting young cabbages. But he jumped up and ran after
Peter.
and he was waving his rake saying,
Stop, thief!
Stop, thief! Come on back so I can finish. Hurry up. Peter was most dreadfully frightened. He rushed all over the garden, but he'd forgotten the way back to the gate. He lost one of his
She's the one that cabbage.
in the shoes in the cabbages, and the other shoe he lost in the potatoes. After losing them,
Mommy's out too.
Yep, listen. After losing them, he ran on 4 legs and went faster. So I think I might have gotten away altogether. Listen, sit up so we can finish. Unfortunately, he ran into a what?
Gooseberry net.
A gooseberry net, and he got caught by the large buttons on his jacket. It was a
Red.
blue jacket with brass buttons. Peter gave himself up for lost and shed big tears, but his sobs were overheard by some friendly sparrows who flew to him in great excitement. Who is that?
Mr. McGregor.
Okay, ready? Listen. Mr. McGregor came up with a... Come on, come over here.
Let's go get something.
Okay, I'm almost
I'm
done.
going to get my bike.
Oh, should I sit on this? Okay, ready? Here we go. Mr. McGregor came up with a sieve, which he intended to pop up the top of Peter. But Peter wriggled out just in time, leaving his jacket behind. And he rushed into the tool shed, and he jumped into a... What did he jump into?
A watering can.
A watering can. Ready? Mr. McGregor was quite sure that Peter was somewhere in the tool shed. Perhaps he was underneath the flower pot. He began to turn them over carefully, looking under each one. Peter sneezed. Kerchoo! Mr. McGregor was after him in no time, and he tried to put his foot upon Peter, who jumped out of the... What did he jump out of? What? Out of the door?
No, out of the gate. Out of that.
What is that called?
Window.
The window. The window was too small for Mr. McGregor, and he was tired of running. He went back to his work. Peter sat down to rest. He was out of breath and trembling with fright. He had not the least idea which way to go. Also, he was very damp with sitting in the can. After some time, he began to wander about. What did he say? Going
Stop.
lippity-lippity, not very fast, and looking all around. It's almost done. He found a door in the wall, but it was locked, and there was no room for that fat little rabbit to squeeze underneath. An old mouse was running in and out of the stone. Yeah, he was carrying what? Beans and peas. Peter asked her the way to the gate, but she had such a large pea in her mouth that she couldn't answer him. She only shook her head at him. Peter began to cry. Then he tried to find his way straight across the garden, but he became more and more puzzled. He came to a pond where who? Look, who? Mr. McGregor filled his water cans, and a what? A white cat was staring at some goldfish. She sat very still, but now and then the tip of her tail twitched as if it was alive. Should I finish reading? Are we all done?
Yeah.
Peter thought it was best to go away without speaking to her. He had heard about cats from his cousin. What was his cousin's name?
Button.
Who?
Benjamin.
Benjamin. He went backwards to the tool shed, but suddenly, quite close, he heard a noise. What was the noise? What was the noise?
Mr. Weather.
What was he doing?
Planting cabbage.
Planting cabbages?
Yeah.
Okay. We're almost done. Let's do the last page. Mr. McGregor hung up a little jacket and shoes for the who?
Scarecrow.
To frighten who? To frighten who?
Mr. Weather.
He wanted to frighten the blackbirds away. Peter never stopped running.
What blackboard?
These are the blackbirds. Peter never stopped running or looked behind him till he got home
He was hands
to the
open.
big fir tree. That's the scarecrow. Listen. He was so tired that he flopped down upon the nice soft sand on the floor of the rabbit hole, and he shut his eyes. His mother was busy what?
Cooking.
Cooking, and she wondered what he had done with his clothes. It was the second little jacket and a pair of shoes that Peter had lost in Fortnite. Come over here, we're almost done. I'm sorry to say that Peter was not feeling very well during the evening. His mother,
Was it accident?
it was an accident? No, his mother put him to
Bed.
and made him some
Cup of tea.
a chamomile tea, a cup of tea, and she gave him a dose of it.
Hi, Mimi.
1 tablespoon to be taken at bedtime. But Flopsy,
Popsy, Conde, and Peter.
they had
Bread, milk for breakfast.
bread and milk and blackberries.
And there's my pin here. Who's
No,
that?
where is Peter? He's sleeping because he's sick. What does this say? What does this say? The
And
end.
that's Peter.
Peter's sleeping.